Good morning, Warriors! Back with another episode of Vigor Warriors 2 and the 1% Club. Hope you guys are doing well. Hope you guys are on your purpose. Another great day. I had a chance to go in a little bit later this morning, so I'm going to actually do a video before I do that. So hopefully you guys kind of get some good information out of this one. All right, so like I did yesterday, I'm going to go ahead and put a bunch of shout-outs out. Let me see if there's any kind of comments from them. DH, 70 days. Congratulations, my friend. Keep it going. John Williams was my 997th, and so I appreciate that, John. And keep listening. Imposer, we're going to go ahead. He was talking about the internet, and I will do one on the internet and semen retention, which I think is a key one. And Abstract 1015 talked about the fact, is Samson Delilah actually a retention story? I actually did one long time ago on Samson Delilah, and it's a very interesting one, a fable, not a fable, but looking at the passage on the Samson Delilah, because it is something that deals with the sexual nature, of course, right? And Samson was very strong when he did all that. Now, the assumption, obviously, is that once Delilah got a hold of him and was able to persuade him, that he wasn't as strong as he was. And so you can probably guess that he was probably was releasing. That would be the guess. Now, we don't know that for sure. I mean, but when you look at all the informations in that and what God is trying to tell us, that type of stuff makes a lot of sense. So I think you're right, Abstract. I think it is a tale of retention. So, Doc Forever, I think that's what it is. A good one. Foundation book. I will go over the exercise with that. Congratulations for getting a book. I think that's great. And then Tony's got an interesting question on attraction from other men. We're going to talk about that in a separate one, but I think that's something you have to be aware of, because there are masculine men and there's feminine men. And so there's going to be men out there who are feminine, and they're going to be attracted to you too. So even though it's not something you might be interested in, certainly not something I'm interested in, but you have to kind of deal with it. You got to deal with it, especially if it's in the workplace and other things like that. It can create a challenge for you. So, all right. And I think those are the only ones I'm going to do today. All right. Now let's go to the topic here. Our topic. We got a couple of these I want to kind of focus on here. The first one is going to be the tempting trap you must avoid with SR, and that's handling flirtation. And along with that, it's by LuapC. So thank LuapC. Thank you, LuapC. I appreciate that. And then the other one is by Lucas7, is everybody releasing. So we're going to kind of combine both of these together. So the tempting trap that people go into. So let's say, my friends, you're on your journey, and I know people are talking about the fact that, you know, it might be, and I've gotten some messages that, you know, this is more of a placebo. This is more of something that is not real, those type of things. And, you know, there's no scientific fact one way or the other, but the idea is that you can tell in the actions of other people. Now, if you want to believe that your confidence level raised up a great deal in that time, you can believe that. But from a physical standpoint, I can only tell you the way the experience for me. And that's kind of what I do in these type of broadcasts. I kind of tell you how it was to me. And even though I was confident in a lot of other areas, I was not very confident when it came to women. And so it did change some thought pattern as soon as I was able to go ahead and save my semen and seed and be able to get the nutrients into my body. I basically felt a lot more confident. Now, whether that's a placebo effect or not, you can argue that until the cows come home. But the idea is that it works. It is effective. And if you don't think it's effective, go out and try it. Now, the two keys to this thing, my friend, is transmutation and retention. You have to be able to now use that energy in other ways, or else it's going to kind of stay frustrated and you may not notice any kind of effects. So the key to this, and I think I did a video on this, is that the idea is that if you don't see effects, then you may think about trying to look at how you're transmitting this information. Are you really kind of moving it into other areas? Are you trying to increase your, the production of things you do? Are you trying to really go ahead and make and do God's purpose. Those are the things that have to go through this to see the effect. But you see, if you just look at a lot of the comments, I mean, there's a bunch of comments talking about how important this is and how much that it makes a difference. And so there's not, everybody can't be just kind of imagining this happening. So there's something happening. And this used to happen years ago. And so this is something that has a long history of people who've experienced these type of things and realize that it just makes more sense that you're going to have these things within you if you keep in yourself and you're not releasing all the time. If you can, so guys, go back to the idea here. If you can go ahead and have a child with your semen, then you must be able, that must be a very powerful force. Along with the woman, you're going to be able to have a child. That's powerful. So imagine if you keep that inside yourself. Just think logically about that. And so if you're doubting it, think about that a little bit. Now, the other part of this, going about tempting trap, is the idea that if you're sitting releasing all the time, which a lot of people are, I mean, they're caught up in the world and the idea that releasing is something that's very good for you. Now, we know procreation is important, and that's an important factor. But if you look at the Bible, it doesn't talk about releasing all the time to be healthy. I've not seen that passage. If it is, please bring it to my attention. But I have not seen that passage, warriors. So what I'm seeing basically is you're not supposed to be, it talks about being dirty, and you're not supposed to be dirty, and dirty means you have to go ahead and become clean. And it takes 7 days, I believe, if I remember reading it right, that it takes you 7 days to become clean after you, and I can't remember the word now they're using in the Bible, but after you release. And those type of things are things that were thousands of years ago. So has human nature changed that much? Has humans changed? I don't believe so. Now, the tempting trap, we go back to Luap C. The tempting trap is this flirtation. Now, here's the key, warriors. As you're moving on, as you're doing things to go ahead and have your purpose, you're going to find, for a number of reasons, like I said, I believe it's the energy that you're emitting, the energy that you're drawing people in like a magnet, law of physics here, that you're drawing people. But if you're doing your own thing, even from a psychological standpoint, you're not paying attention to women, you're basically doing, then women, because attention's important to them, they're going to look at you. And they're going to see you as different because so many people out there are releasing. So many people out there are kind of the beta males that we see. We see this in sports and other things all the time now. Beta males, not tough mentally. And those people don't have any self-control. And so women are looking for real men. They may not say that all the time, but they are. They're looking for men who can protect them. Security. They want to have some level of security. And that's something, if you ask 90% of women, they'll tell you that's true. But the idea is, when you're looking at this, flirtation is something that's going to happen to you a lot. That's where you have to, if you're not interested in the person, now, of course, if you're interested in the person, you want to make that person the person that's going to be, a person with you, and that's the person you want to share time with and all that, that's your decision. But if you want to continue on the path and you want to continue to kind of wait out until you find the right situation, the flirtation is the trap. Because once people come up to you, it's almost like they are staring into, they don't know what's hitting them. But they're going to react in a very positive way. Probably subconsciously most of the time. And so they're going to flirt, they're going to wink, they're going to come up to you, they're going to see this tremendous amount of energy. Now, as Judah said, this might be God. They may be seeing God in you as you're getting closer to God. That's very possible. But whatever they're seeing, they're coming to you, and the flirtation part is what you've got to control. When the flirtation comes in, you have to kind of make your way out. Because if you don't, what's going to happen is you're going down that path. You're heading down that path. And that's the key to it. This is where you see a lot of people going ahead and going down that rabbit hole, and all of a sudden now they're at a point where they're going to, they're possibly releasing. Now, obviously, if you have self-control and the longer you're on this, the longer you can actually kind of deal with this better. At the beginning, it's tough because you're getting all this attention, and all of a sudden now people are, now you have to kind of deal with this attention, and it's not always easy. But the flirtation part is hard. You know, sometimes they're sitting there almost like a deer in headlights, and they're going to come to you because they sense the energy. They're not sure why, but they smile at you, they wink at you, they come over and touch you. All these things are different because they sense that you're becoming more of a man. When you're releasing, you're not a man most of the time. You become less of a man, in my opinion. It's almost like a glass of water. Once you're releasing, that water goes down. You don't have full energy. Now, when you're procreating, you're doing it for purpose. That's a whole different situation. But don't release all your energy, so now you become like a zombie. And that's what happens to a lot of people. So, good question from LuapC and also Lucas7. I appreciate it, guys. Both you guys kind of contributing, and I'll put a shout out for both you guys along with other people. But the guys, the idea here is that there is something that happens when you are keeping your energy, and it's almost like a glass of water. Now, you can regain that water and put more water in, but it takes a while. I think it said 72 days to build semen up. So you can just imagine if you're losing it that fast, you're not regaining it. And that's something to look at. All right, guys, time to go. I will come back with another one soon. God bless you guys. And remember, every day is a new day to a great warrior. I think it was a wise warrior, but great warrior, I'm going to replace it with great warrior. So battle on, my friends, and have a great day. Take care.